When you think of the greatest villains in video game history, which series springs to mind the most? I'm betting it's Far Cry, and coming in February is the next installment of that iconic series.
Again, terribly sorry for what happened before.
I save souls. Did I ever tell you the definition of insanity?
Hello and welcome to PlayStation Grenade. Once again, I have teamed up with Ubisoft to hit you with another episode of things you need to know. But this time, it's all about Far Cry 6. And as this is a sponsored video, there's a custom link in the description below where you can find out more about the game. So sit your butt down for 10 minutes, prepare to see a sausage dog in a wheelchair, and let's do this.
Perfect, but useless.
Far Cry 6 is based in the fictional country of Yara, a tropical paradise frozen in time. Even though it's a completely made up place, the links to Cuba are evidenced throughout, from the 1950s cars to the environment, from the inhabitants to the president himself. But we'll get to him soon. Yara is an island paradise, but unrest has taken hold as a revolution is forming, and we take control of a rebel and fight to overthrow the might of the military. The open world here in Far Cry 6 is the biggest in the series to date, so expect to sink some serious time into this game next year. Each section of the map is broken down into biomes, so expect to see picturesque beaches, dense jungles, and towns with NPCs. Another great thing of note is the capital city, Esperanza. This will be the home of our enemy, so I'm expecting this to be heavily fortified, and if I'm honest, I'm going to go there straight away to find the hidden ending we usually see in Far Cry games. Remember in Far Cry 4, we could simply sit still at the table at the start of the game to see an alternative ending.
Please, stay right here. Enjoy the crab rangoon.
Or in Far Cry 5, in which we refused to arrest Father Joseph in the first 5 minutes. Boom, alternative ending. I can't wait to see what that is in Far Cry 6. Well, that leads perfectly into my second point, the villain. Far Cry 6's antagonist is the president of Yara himself, tasked with making the country great again. But this is done on the back of those who oppose him, making slaves of protesters and competitors, or even worse still. The story of Far Cry 6 revolves around El Presidente Anton Castillo, but he's not alone here.
I am El Presidente, which means that someday you will be El Presidente.
Castillo's son Diego is expected to continue in his father's footsteps, making every second a learning opportunity between father and son, including this moment when Castillo uses a grenade to make a chilling point.
It has 4 basic parts: the shell, which contains the explosive, the fuse, the handle, and of course, the pin.
What are you doing?
Every Far Cry game thus far has had a villain with character and charisma and an ideology which impacts us in unexpected ways. The actors used over the years to bring these characters to life reflect this. Remember when Troy Baker was Pagan Min? This time it's none other than Giancarlo Esposito. This guy has been playing memorable characters for years. Remember Gus in Breaking Bad? What about Moff Gideon in The Mandalorian? However you know Giancarlo, you'll know Far Cry 6 and the legacy of great bad guys is in good hands. It'll also be interesting to see if Diego follows in his father's footsteps. And by the way, he's played by Anthony Gonzalez, who you may know as Miguel in Coco. And let's get real for a moment. If you didn't cry at the end of Coco, you may be in line to be the next Far Cry villain.
Remember me. Don't let it make you cry.
Nope, turn it off. I don't want to cry. Let's move on to gameplay. The series formula is first-person open world exploration and combat, and that remains the core to this day. But this time, we're going to have full cutscenes which will allow us to see our character in all scenes. This may not be a huge thing to many people, but we usually see all events through the eyes of the protagonist. But Far Cry 6 changes this and will introduce more cinematic storytelling opportunities. Our hero and main character of the story is Danny Rojas, a military dropout who finds themselves on the side of revolution. And here's another nugget of info you may like to know. Danny can be male or female. This follows on from the work in Far Cry 5 to give us deeper options and works similarly to the two Eivors in Assassin's Creed Valhalla, male and female. I've noticed the trick here. It's to give a name which is synonymous with both sexes, and that's why my favourite name, Dave, will never work. If your name's Dave, please comment below and I'll give you a digital high five. As Danny is part of the plot to overthrow the government, firepower is important, but the rebel budget isn't as plentiful as Castillo's arsenal. This means impromptu weapons are here again, just like those in Far Cry New Dawn, customizing and evolving weapons from unlikely everyday objects. Flamethrowers return, but let's give a moment for this beauty. Discos Locos. A compact disc projectile weapon. CDs flying everywhere. I always thought Mariah Carey's music was cutting edge, and now it's time to prove it. Dad jokes. Far Cry 6 will have many unique weapons to find in the open world. The more ridiculous, the better. One of the most important parts of recent Far Cry games is the Fangs for Hire system, in which we recruit an animal to be our companion. Remember Boomer? I mean, before that word was used to insult people, Boomer was a good boy and attacked your enemies whenever you needed him to. It fitted the US location really well, but now you are in Yara and Boomer needs replacing. And this is what the team chose. Meet Libertad Chorizo, the freedom puppy, who looks to have lost the use of his back legs. But luckily, he has gladiator-style weaponized wheels and can carry enough ammo and mods to keep the revolution burning. We will need to wait for the full reveal of other amigos. All we know right now is that version of the Libertad Chorizo is a pre-order bonus. I decided to research animals in Cuba and found crocodiles, serpents, and many types of parakeet. So I'm calling it now, Parakeet for Hire. There was a boar named Horatio in Far Cry New Dawn, so my parakeet dream may come true. Another brilliant thing you should know about Far Cry 6 is the next gen options. When console generations happen, knowing if you're going to be forced to buy a game twice is important info. Far Cry 6 has been confirmed to be a free update, which allows PS4 users to upgrade to PS5 without paying any extra cash. And the same thing happens on Xbox. Smart delivery over devices and generations, but of course you can't go between platforms. But if you decide to buy Far Cry 6 for current gen and then suddenly decide to get a PS5, you know the game will be able to come with you. Another returning gem to the Far Cry series has been confirmed in co-op play. If you haven't tried playing Far Cry 5 with a friend, I recommend it. It's ridiculous in the best ways. And thanks to the small print online, we know Far Cry 6 has it too. Hallelujah. If you're wondering what will happen to the game after release, you should know that there is 3 lots of DLC planned and more to be revealed at a later date inside the Season Pass. Many of these can be picked up in the pre-order bundles, so let's quickly break those down now. 4 editions have been confirmed: Standard, Gold, Ultimate and Collector's Editions. Like you'd expect, the Standard Edition is the base game, whereas the Gold Edition secures the 3 DLCs in the Season Pass, and from there the Ultimate Pack includes more in-game items like a Crocodile Hunter set, and get this, an 80s style Vice Pack complete with... hang on, is that a White Panther? Okay, I no longer want the Parakeet Amigo, I want that thing. And finally there's the Collector's Edition, which has a flamethrower, a real flamethrower. Well, a replica flamethrower. You're not going to start your own revolution buying this. This edition is for the ultra fans, with a collector's case, stickers, an A4 art book, a steelbook, soundtrack, a map, and even a disabled chorizo keyring. So something for everyone. That keyring though, that keyring, yeah, I need that keyring. And finally, Far Cry 6 releases on February 18th, 2021. It's so close. Releasing on PS4, Xbox One, PC and Stadia, with next gen confirmed too. So, now I open this up to you. What are your thoughts on Far Cry 6? And would you be okay with me covering this more in depth in future when we find out more information? Remember, there's a link in the description should you want to know more. I'm Adam from PlayStation Grenade. It's been a pleasure. Let me leave you with one important question. Who is the greatest villain you've ever faced in a video game? It's a tough choice, isn't it? See you next time.